get him?
I'm not saying anything. How about you?
He's not the easiest person in the world to buy birthday presents for.
Bruce, you didn't get him a gift certificate.
No. Cash. I mean, what do you buy for the man who has everything?
Hey guys, what do you mean? Hey, I'm not Superman. I'm easy to buy for. Matter of fact, I bought some stuff for myself to celebrate my birthday. And here they are. So let's take a look. Stay tuned for the video.
Anachronic.
Hi comic book guys and gals, I'm Joe and welcome to Anachronic Comics. Yes, this is my birthday. I was born on January 5th, right in the thick of the golden age of comic books. And I'm just happy to share this birthday with all of you. Now, last year I did have a birthday video that I posted, which was very introspective and, talked about what comic books meant to me and how I thought that reading comic books and getting back into the hobby was beneficial for me and for most people, I think, that see the hobby in the same way that we do. So I think it's worthwhile to watch. I just watched it again, and I think it's a good description of what many of us feel with respect to comic books and the hobby. So I'll put a link at the end. I'll put one upstairs here too, and in the description below. So if you want to take a look at that after you watch this one, please go ahead and do that. I think it's worthwhile. So you may remember that way back, many months ago, I did pull out a comic book that came from 1951. And I've got it right here behind me. Major Impact, Space Ace. And if you recall, this particular comic book was a kind of a commercial giveaway for a company. And I got it because it was inexpensive and it was from 1951. But it was not from January of 1951. So you may have also seen this. I did manage a while back to get a comic book from January 1951. This Dick Tracy comic book. It's number 35, January 1951. So that kind of gave me the idea. And I said to myself, you know what? It would be really cool if for 2022, I would start collecting comic books that were issued with cover dates in the month and year of my birth, January 1951. So I said, yeah, okay. But you know what? Like a lot of other things, I couldn't wait. So then I said, why don't I just get a bunch of them? And when my birthday comes up in 2022, I'll share them with you guys. And so that's what I did. Oh, you know what? Before I show you some of the new ones, let me tell you a little bit about this Dick Tracy one. So Dick Tracy's monthly comic book, I guess it was called, was from Dell and Harvey Comics. And it started in 1948 and went through 1961. The series started with Harvey Comics with number 25. And for number 35, which I have here, interestingly, the cover art was by Joe Simon. And he signed it as Chester Gould, but it wasn't Chester Gould, it was Joe Simon. So the case of the stolen $50,000 was scripted and drawn by Chester Gould. Now I used to read Dick Tracy comic strips in the newspaper every day and watch the cartoons in the 1960s. And his villains always had very colorful names like Flat Top, B.O. Plenty, Measles, and Breathless. So that's the Dick Tracy number 35 from January 1951. The next one is Black Ryder. Now, during this time, there were a lot of cowboy type of comic books that were issued. And Black Ryder, which was a 52-page comic book, this is, again, number 12 from January of 1951. Now, it was he had a number of stories in here, like Marked for Murder, Six Gun Salute, and he had some backup stories that were actually written by Stan Lee. All right, Torture and The Man Who Wouldn't Fight was written by Stan Lee, and they're in this book. That's pretty cool, don't you think? Now, the next one is another cowboy and Indian type. It's Straight Arrow number 9. There we go. Straight Arrow number 9 from January 1951. Now, Straight Arrow started as a radio drama, as a lot of comic books did in the day. And it was aimed at kids, and it was sponsored by Nabisco that makes the cookies and all that type of stuff. Actually, it was Nabisco shredded wheat, is what I remember now from reading that. Now, Straight Arrow really comes straight out of comic books in some ways, because he was a son of a Comanche chief who was orphaned at the age of 10 when a combined Indian and white man brigade basically slaughtered his entire tribe. Now, he was adopted by a white ranch owner, and when the ranch owner died, he got the ranch. So, to most of the world, he was just Steve Adams, an owner of a cattle ranch. But when evildoers, whether they were Indians or whether they were white people, plotted against justice, Steve entered his cave, right? Like that cave? He entered his cave, which was hidden in his ranch, and became Straight Arrow, and had a golden Palomino horse that he rode to bring people to justice. So, sounds like a little bit like some of the people we have now, right? Think about Batman, right? In the cave. So that's pretty cool. Straight Arrow, right there. So what I have next is a comic book with the title of a hero that I'd seen some Golden Age comic books online before, and it kind of intrigued me. What I have here is Daredevil. Let me see, there we go. Yep, not very good. There we go. Daredevil number 70. Now, Daredevil started during the 1930s and 40s. And then an Image took over in the 1990s and kind of redid the character. Now, it has nothing to do with Marvel's Daredevil, right? Now, his first appearance was in Silver Street Comics number 6. He was somebody who was mute, but became an expert with a batarang. And he got a costume and he started fighting crime. Now, what you see here on the cover is the Little Wise Guys. The Little Wise Guys in Daredevil number 13 became his sidekicks. This was in 1942. The sidekicks became more and more popular as superheroes became less and less popular, and eventually the sidekicks took over the entire comic book, and Daredevil was not to be seen again. So in this particular issue, you see, it says Daredevil, Pee-wee, and the Little Wise Guys. All right, so that's exactly what happened. So this is Daredevil from January 1951. So the next one I have, another cowboy one. This one is from Dell, and it's Red Ryder Comics. Now, Red Ryder was a comic strip that served as the basis for quite a few different character merchandising stuff. Red Ryder was very important at the time. He was syndicated in newspaper strips that ran from 1938 through 1965. Now, the Red Ryder had a radio series that started in 1942, and he appeared in a 12-chapter serial in 1940, and there were actually 27 movies that were made with Red Ryder. So I think if you go online, you might be able to find some of them. Now, the first Red Ryder comic book was published in September of 1940. All right. Dell launched Red Ryder in 1941, and it consisted of newspaper strips until issue number 47 in 1947, when it began producing some original material. Now, altogether, Red Ryder Comics enjoyed a first run for a total of 151 issues, which ended in 1957. So, at the time, it was one of the longest continuous newsstand runs in the U.S. for any Western comic. So this particular edition of Red Riders from January 1951 was number 90. So next up, also from Dell, was The Lone Ranger, number 31 from January 1951. Now, The Lone Ranger was a masked man. He was a former Texas Ranger who fought outlaws in the American West, and his Native American friend was Tonto. Now, as I mentioned before, the Lone Ranger was on the radio, and he actually had 2,956 episodes on the radio. And he premiered on WXYZ in Detroit, Michigan in January of 1933. Now, I watched his TV show as well, and at the beginning of each episode, and I understand this was in the radio as well, he had a magnificent white stallion called Silver, and he would go up on Silver, and the Lone Ranger would be on the back, and then they would dash off and run off, and he would shout out, "Hi-yo, Silver, away!" which I loved. All the kids used to do the same thing when we used to make believe we were the Lone Ranger. And at the end of each episode, one of the characters or the sheriff or somebody would say, "Who was that masked man?" And someone would then say, "Oh, he's the Lone Ranger." And then the Lone Ranger and Tonto would be seen galloping off, and he would be saying again, "Hi-yo, Silver, away!" And then all the people would be waving or saying what's going on. So those catchphrases and the silver bullets he had, he only used silver bullets. And the theme music from the William Tell Overture have become, popular tropes in culture right now. So this is Lone Ranger number 31 from January 1951. Now the next one comes from DC Comics. And I'm sorry for some of the way these look, but I have to get the right size bag and board so I could rebag and board these, but hopefully you can see them well enough. Now this one always interested me. I also saw this on eBay in a number of them. This is Mr. District Attorney. This was another radio crime drama that was aired on NBC and ABC radio from 1939 to 1952. It focused on a crusading district attorney. He originally was known as Mr. District Attorney, which I guess is why we have the title of this comic book this way during the radio run. DC Comics published Mr. District Attorney from February 1948 to January 1959, and he had a total of 67 issues. This particular one is number 19 from January 1951. So now I haven't been too good about telling you who the publisher of each one of these comics is, but I'll try to be better as we go along and finish this up. So this one here is Airboy Comics from January 1951, a Hillman publication. And this particular one is number 12. There we go. Nice cover. So Airboy was a aviator hero, and he was initially published during World War II, so that kind of made some sense if you think about it. He debuted in a comic book called Air Fighters, number 2. And that was an anthology series about aviators, which was a big deal in those things, kind of like, in my time, astronauts were. Now, the series was renamed Airboy Comics, and it ran for 89 issues in all its volumes through May of 1953. This one was volume 4, number 12. I'm not sure what the volumes were all about, but again, this particular one, number 12, from January of 1951. 3 more. 3 DC, pretty good ones. Here we have Superboy. Here we go. Okay. We have Superboy number 12 from January 1951. So if you take a look at it, you see Superboy is dealing with some students. And I think a lot of his comic books in those days were him dealing with in Smallville with students and some of the issues that they had. So here we had a club that was honoring heroic ancestors of current Smallville residents. And Superboy is helping a young man to clear his grandfather's name so that he can join the club. Now, the main story in this one was written by Bill Finger and was drawn by Curt Swan. But the cover was done by Al Plastino. So there's some pretty cool people involved in this particular issue. Now we have 2 more. The next one, another Superboy one, is Adventure Comics, number 160. There we go. From January 1951, of course. So, Win Mortimer drew the cover, and Curt Swan penciled the main stories, Superboy, Prince Charming here. So from 1938 through 1946, Adventure Comics started a number of Golden Age heroes, including Sandman, Hourman, Starman, Manhunter, and they had backup features like the Shining Knight, Genius Jones, and a bunch of others. In 1946, all the previous features were canceled, and Superboy, Aquaman, and Green Arrow were transferred to Adventure Comics. They were used to be in More Fun Comics. And they remained in the series as main features into the 1950s. This particular comic book, after the Superboy story, has a story about Aquaman, Johnny Quick, and Green Arrow. And my last comic from my birthday haul is Action Comics number 152, again, from January of 1951. Now, as you guys I'm sure know, because I think I've mentioned it, other people have mentioned it in the past, Action Comics for a number of years, with its beginning, was really kind of a anthology series. Had multiple 12-page stories with a variety of characters. Of course, Superman was involved with it, but you had Congo Bill, Zatara, and others. But in 1950, Superman was so popular, basically probably was the top of his popularity, that the title here started to be regarded as another Superman title. And by the 1970s, Action Comics featured Superman exclusively, and occasionally had an 8-page backup story with various characters, including like the Atom or Aquaman. This particular edition, number 152, has backup stories regarding Tommy Tomorrow, Congo Bill, and the Vigilante. So there you have it. For my birthday, January 5th, 2022, I've given myself all of these Golden Age comics as a gift. Now, you don't see Batman here, you don't see Detective Comics, you don't see Wonder Woman. Some of them are pretty pricey. So I'm hoping in 2022 to maybe be able to pick up a few more of these. And if I do, I'll definitely show them to you on what I hope will be my 72nd birthday in 2023. Now, I did promise that I was going to give away one of these. And here's what I'm going to do. If you take a look, the very first one that I got, Dick Tracy, I'm going to give this one away. All right. So, if you want to win this Dick Tracy Golden Age comic book, here's what you have to do. You have to, first of all, be a subscriber, of course, but in the comments below, put down hashtag Dick Tracy. That's hashtag Dick Tracy, just as you see below here. And that's it. And I'll pick out the winner. And I'm going to announce it when I come back with my regular Monday Top Covers show on January 17th. So you want to tune in then to see if you're the winner. All right. So guys, again, thank you for watching my birthday video. Watch my video from last year, because I think you'd like it. And also leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about these comic books that I bought myself. And you may want to consider, since you guys are younger than me and probably the comic books are cheaper, maybe, you may want to consider taking a look at your own birthday and seeing what comic books are available that you might want to pick up. All right, guys, so take care. I'm going to go get myself a piece of birthday cake. And I will see you on January 17th with the winner of the Dick Tracy Golden Age comic book and also a top covers video. Be well, and I'll see you soon.
Hey, this is Batman. I hear it's your birthday. That's kind of special. It's going all around here in Gotham City. So you know what? I want to wish you a special happy birthday. So hey, have a wonderful birthday from Batman. Happy birthday, buddy.